I'm late. I'm late. I was a minute late. Better late than I don't know. I don't know, guys. It's here. It's the New York Giants 2024 season. We've talked about this before. We're going to go over this again in excruciating pain and detail. How the Giants have. I got Pale Rider in the room. I haven't seen Pale Rider in a while. One of my favorite Clint Eastwood movies. How this mess of a 2024 season is shaping up, and it's outside of the garbage that's going on within the building. It's outside of that. It's a little bit more. I want to talk about the draft. I love gaming crowds like Greeting Earthlings. I'm a Giant fan from the future. If you're a Giant fan of the future, what's the future? Tell me the future. I came here to say we are still trying to figure out what we have in Daniel Jones. Hey-oh. I was. Oh wait, no wait, hold on. Hey-oh. I was a little late because I was remixing. I saw Darren Waller's music video, and it came to me, man. It's like, well, Darren Waller's got he's got a music video now, right? Well, so I was thinking that T-Brad and I need to have a music video. I mean, you watched the rapping skills of Darren Waller. I'm trying to get it up here right now because the skills were just so on point. Come on, hold on, wait, I got it. Oh, wait, hold on, that's not. Here we go. I got it right here. Here we go. A little bit of Darren Waller.
I'm on here. I ain't gon' cap. I had a long year. Lessons turn to blessings, boy. We strong here. Just try to size me up. Clip is extra long. Gotta do it big like a draft suit from LeBron. Yeah, get a ass a 3-piece. Atlanta, what I'm repping till I decease. Cook a classic wrestling and I repeat. The way that rap is changing, I ain't with it. It's the retreat. I'm activated, stepping on it like I got 3 feet with the insult.
I mean, really? That is what is going on my computer today, man. I got everything going on here. I have Get Off My Lawn going on here right now too, man. I got so many things going on here, but that is the venerable Darren Waller and his rapping skills. Hold on, we got to turn off what's playing here. Hold on. Don't save that. There we go. I'm sorry about that, but that's his amazing rapping skills. That's the Waller rap. How great is that? I think I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do a little freestyle here. My socks don't match, cause that's okay. I'm wearing my hat and my shoes are tight. Look, I took off my socks. Now I'm feeling all right. Did we not have enough garbage with Kadarius Toney? But don't worry, it was all about the wedding. It was the wedding. Zacatech says, we are the Jets now. The Giants are stuck in their ways. Nothing will change until Marin is GM power, gives the powers to others, has nothing to do with we'll be stuck in purgatory for the next decade. You hope it's going to be, I always laugh because we always talk about the Knicks and James Dolan, but James Dolan with Phil Jackson just said, James Dolan does stupid shit in the Garden, but he basically went out and said, hey, listen, I'm going to turn everything over to Phil Jackson. All basketball operations are in the decision of Phil Jackson. And that just worked out horribly. And it wasn't until you brought in, West Worldwide and everyone else coming in here that we kind of, we've made a little pivot in New York. Let's see here. Pale Rider. I said, I don't believe this team is capable of having a successful free agent or draft. Even if they did draft well, they will never develop the players. In my opinion, this is a make or break season. I love it because everyone was excited about old Carmen coming to the Giants from the Raiders. We got Carmen. We stole him we always steal people. It's great because every time we steal him, we should steal him back. We stole him from the Raiders. Well, evidently it came out that his personality didn't really mesh well in Vegas. And there was a lot of rumblings and a lot of people inside the building, including players, didn't like him. So when the Raiders were getting ready to, get ready to find their coach, which I also find interesting because then they stick with Antonio Pierce. And then you turn around and you hear, well, Carmen, you want to go? Okay. No, Carmen, don't go. Don't go. Just get the fuck out of the building. Online Big Blue I'm going to put the link in the chat, Zach. What's up, OGR Sports? Good chat. Good morning, Tim. I'm tired, Zach. I got up late. We got our new dog. We got Ralphie. And Ralphie's another Bernese Mountain Dog, and Ralphie right now is a holy terror. And I probably got maybe about an hour and a half sleep last night. So we're running off coffee and magic lines. Jeff Newman says, I'm ready for Sunday morning cult meeting. The cult meeting's here. Salute. Salute to Tim, says Juan, and the chat. Joe Rev, good morning, fellas. Tim and T-Brad, Lex Luthor need to do it. I got a new theme music. I'm waiting for T-Brad to come on because I was late because I was mixing the new T-Brad track. This is good. We had a T-Brad track before, so I got a new song for T-Brad. Are you ready? This is the premiere. I'll premiere for like 10 seconds. This is the premiere of the new T-Brad theme music.
Give me the honey. Give me the honey.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Give me the honey. And let me love you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's the melodious sounds of the T-Brad.
No.
Yes. I have way too much free time on my hands, don't I? Well, gaming says, Waller rapping. Oh, Jesus Christ. What happened to my Giants? I wish I knew. Emmanuel says, don't worry, guys. Daniel Jones will be back to save the Giants. He's going to have to be. The Admiral's in his house. Admiral says, Tim, your thoughts on match fixing. Does it sound like V's NBA match fixing? When do we match? Who's fixing matches? People are fixing games? I didn't know that. I don't have an opinion on that right now. Juan says, the outlook is bleak next year. Will be a wash. No matter what, I ain't watching. Well, I'm going to watch. And I love it because they sent me, like I said, they sent me my season ticket invoice. And when I saw the season ticket invoice, the first thing that came to my mind was,
I know. Yeah. It's a reason why I'm on here. I ain't gon' cap, I had a long year. Lessons turn to blessings, boy, we strong here. Just try to size me up. Clip is extra long. Gotta do it big like a draft suit from LeBron, yeah. Get a ass a 3-piece. Land on what I'm repping till I de-
you know, I gotta admit, the white draft suit that LeBron wore during his draft actually is on his rookie card. I have that rookie card. That's worth a lot of money. So thank you, Darren Waller. My shoes are all too tight. My hat's all right. My feet hurt. Oh no, wait! I took off my socks and now everything's all right. Oh god! Captain Matumbo says DJ starting next year. Yeah, DJ has to start next year. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Here's my biggest concern. Here's my fear. You know, some people have fears of spiders. Some people have fears of snakes. Some people have fears of interterrestrial dragons. I really don't have any fears because I'm stupid. But here's my fear. Daniel Jones comes back for year 7. OG says, Carmen sounded like a perfect fit for he does sound like a perfect fit for plus he's bald. What about this shit with Kafka? I love everyone's like, well, Kafka's going to get a head coaching job. Nobody's hiring Kafka's head coach. Nobody's hiring head coach. I mean, maybe in college. But if you really think the pros are going to give him a coaching job after having 2 mediocre seasons and losing the play calling now multitudes of times in 2 years, you think they're going to give him a job? What do you think? What do you think about that, Darren Waller?
Cook a classic wrestling and I repeat. The way that rap is changing, I ain't with it. It's the retreat. I'm activated, stepping on it like
he's activated. So you have on. What's up, OG Knockout? Everything's going good. What's up? Joey says, Tim, sup? Good morning. New blood to the Giants. Daryl's in his house saying, what's up, Tim? What's up, chat? Zach says, Rob is already blaming him for teaching styles taking 2-punch to. Are you kidding me? Rob is already blaming him for the teaching staying style with 2-punch blocking style, even though the entire league teaches that. Really? I didn't know that. Rob will be on. I think we're doing a stream on Monday, so Rob's going to be on. I'm going to ask him about that. You, sir, are the Nikki Haley of the Giant fans. I don't know. Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Because the nominee is going to be Trump. So are you saying, though, that I'm in second place? Cool. You ain't first, you're last. I love that scene of Ricky Bobby. I was high when I said that. You could be first, you could be second, you could be third. Hell, you could be fifth. Let's see here. Captain says, I meant to blatant games that refs. Oh, the games that I'm not even going to get into the officiating for the games in both NBA and the NFL because it's just ridiculous. B Gigante is in the room. We are here to cheer on Tim. Let the OBB cult begin. We need to have a day where we bring in the T-Brad, where we bring in Big L. Tried to have Big L come in the other day. When we had Coach Dave and T-Brad and we had Zach Attack on, except he dropped out because without Big Al. With Big Al, you know what it is.
Oh my God. Do you know what it's time for? A sexy party.
It's always time for a sexy party when T-Brad's in his house. Oh my God, there's something wrong with me. I'm just, like I said, I got no sleep. I'm great when I get no sleep because you know what's funny? Because Mr. Belford comes in the room and then I'm ready for him.
I'm Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. If you need me, just think Johnny Wishbone and I come running.
You bet it. Zack Attack says NFL is buying a stake in ESPN. ESPN has a casino, so people are saying the NFL is fixing games. I did not know this. Thank you, Zack Attack. Without Zack Attack, I probably wouldn't have any idea, clue, or knowledge what the hell's going on in this world. Phones do I have? I got like 9 phones. OG Knockout says the Daniel Jones as the Giants quarterback only wins 5-6 games unless they play the NFC South again. I think it's funny. He went 1-4, and what the other quarterbacks went 5-5. And somehow the line didn't get better. The receiving core didn't get better. The philosophy didn't change. I'm still getting this thing about. I'm still getting a little about trading up for the Giants. There's a lot of talk and a lot of speculation that the Giants will be trading up, that the Giants are looking to go looking to make that big splash. And it is going to be the quarterback. And there's so many people right now that are kind of feeling that. And I just kind of think to myself, I as a Giant fan, I would love it. As a Giant fan, I would be all in it if that's what we were going to do. If we were literally going to trade up and get something and make something happen and move forward, and I'm kind of getting to Michael's point. If we're willing to trade up, if we're willing to take the assets, if we are willing to take the hits, if we're willing to take the slings and arrows of all that's going to come along, because of the fact that if you trade up and it fails miserably, you are going to get murdered in this town. But the problem is Joe Shane's in year 3. Joe Shane is literally in year 3 right now. And you look at his drafts, not that amazing. You look at you basically look at his free agency, not amazing. His cap management has to be in question. I mean, there's just so much going on that you just kind of have to think. Let's see here. Captain Thomas, American Bully, or Rottweiler, or Cambridge Hospital. No. I have a Bernese Mountain Dog. And I love it because this dog is literally like, he is the biggest whiner of any dog we've ever had. And it's the greatest thing in the world because he whine. I mean, it's not really the greatest thing in the world, I guess, but he literally whines for everything. But he's already captured the house, the entire house. So you can't beat that. This dog in a day has come in and just made everyone, because we had some issues with dogs before. So this dog has come in and kind of, taken all that away. Here he is right there. That's Ralphie. Ralphie in the snow. And he's small for a Bernie, so which is great. What do we got here? We want to talk Giants. I want to talk about Bernie's. Daniel Jones got receivers considering top rap careers. You gotta love it, man. Because like I said, I think I was trying to think of a new theme song, to play over and over again. And I'm honestly gonna put this on the soundboard.
Like I got 3 feet with the insoles. Yeah, told me body this, that's a tenfold. Trust me with your life, I ain't running around telling info. You know I got your back and your front. It's not a stunt. All these shooters sending shots till they get sinful.
We just stop with the rapping. How about you learn to catch the football? Don't drop it. Oh, look, my hands are cold. I need gloves to wear. If I don't, I'll have to check my underwears. Oh my God! I think I have a rap career in my future. Zack Attack says Tennessee will get Kafka job. Sarcasm alert. That phrase.
I think you get that.
But are you crazy?
Ow.
Yeah, I'm crazy. What made you think I was sane?
I got no clue what the sarcasm button is. Skyline says, good morning, everyone. Joe Rev says, I'm kind of done. I've been a G fan since the mid-'70s. I am done with this direction of the team, the leadership, the blind Josers, the fan base. Time for me to take a break from the Giants. You can't, because then you take the break from the channel. And if you took a break from the channel, where would you hear lyrics like this?
Stop it, dog. You know it's greatness. These really out here trying to flex racks, knowing that they owing payments. It's getting colder, ain't it? And I hope you see the value of having a real in your corner daily.
I love the fact that he talks about he's basically old school hip hop. I love that. You know, he talks about it in his rhymes. I wouldn't even call them rhymes, but he talks about it. But then he curses, and everyone knows that in old school hip hop, nobody cursed. It's tree to rock a rhyme that's right on time. It's tricky. It's tricky, huh? I met this little girlie. Her hair was kind of curly. Went to her house to bust her out. I had to leave her early. Oh, what Jeff Newman said. Oh, I'm going back to Joe Rep. This is the worst offense since 1979. I saw the 1979 offense. You hope the 81 turnaround. The 81, the Giants went 9-7 with Scott Bruner under quarterback. And basically, you know, then they were bad for 2 more years, and then they went into the 84 Giants, and the rest is NFL history. So you kind of hope it's that way. Jeff Newman says this offensive line needs to be successful. I can't handle another year if we don't have Daniel Jones because the O-line sucks. But the other 2 quarterbacks won 5 games when Daniel Jones went 1-4. And we had the great Justin Pugh come in and give up 8 sacks, and I think 2nd or 3rd most pressures in the league, and it was under 1,000 snaps. Zach Attack says Daniel Jones misses a wide open wide receivers more freaking than Tommy DeVito has last in the league and is finding open wide receivers. This is the Giants are bad. What the Giants are bad because Tommy DeVito is still charging to sign autographs, and he's still calling himself the Giants quarterback. I know the kid was a great story. Tommy Jersey Shore DeVito was a great story, but it's like this thing that you had your 15 minutes of fame. It's over. It's done. Learn your trade. I think his dad's a plumber. You may have to go to plumbing school because I don't see you being a quarterback after what I saw. Jeff Newman says if we trade up and get it right, it'll worth it. If we're getting it wrong, we're in a lot of trouble. This is a great point by Jeff. But here's the other problem. If you don't make a trade, if you don't make a splash, if you don't make something happen, you're still in a lot of trouble. This roster is terrible. We went through it. We did a whole video on it. We did a whole video on the roster and the salary cap. I don't want to do another one. It's terrible. The people that you have under contract, you look at and go, a lot of these guys aren't NFL caliber, and we broke it down and we found 10 guys on the roster that would probably be considered building block pieces or maybe even being able to be on other teams and be contributors. 10 out of the 38. You need 22. Last time I checked the play, plus the kicker and the punter. You had 10 guys, and not all of them were even starters. They were maybes. They were question marks. OG says, it has to be a quarterback. How else will Joe Shane and Brian Dale return in 2025? This is what I've talked about before. This is actually a really excellent point. If you draft a quarterback in the first round, you are Shane and Dable, you have reset the clock. All the goodwill that Dable and Shane had built up in that 2022 season got erased in 2023. You take a quarterback in 2024, that clock strikes 0 and goes and recirculates and goes right back again. It's like, what was the TV show Lost with that counter that you had to reset every 12 hours. That would be exactly the thing. We'd be resetting it as well. I'm sorry, but Joe Shane has been beyond horrible. He really has been beyond horrible. And James Williams says, don't forget to hit the like. Salute to the chat. We'll get RG coming and say, Bernie's Mountain Dogs are my favorite breed. They're beautiful, smart. And only negative thing is the average lifespan is only 8 years. One of the lowest of all breed dogs. Yes, they are very low. And that was the problem with our other Bernies. We had one Bernie who passed away due to kidney failure. Then we had another Bernie that just passed away due to cancer. So they were one was only a year old, one was only 3. So yes, that is the biggest problem with Bernie's Mountain Dogs. They are very susceptible to, because they're so big, they're brave, but they're very susceptible to cancer and other things. And we're not going to talk about that because this dog is going to live forever. He is going to live forever. Look at him. Look at him. He's a pain in the ass. He's been here a day. He fits in beautifully because he's a pain in the ass. What do we got here? Rachel loves the puppy. We're going to rap just like the Muppets. Zach Attack says, we have 6 inches of snow here. How much you got in the middle of P? No, we got 8. We got about 8 inches. So that was no fun. James says, is that Waller trying to rap? Of course, man. That is old school.
Baby. Promise is all I know, man. Yeah. That's all I know.
Oh, yeah, baby. Coming to you live
I know.
Oh yeah, this is Hot 97. Dropping the new beats from Waller, the Darren.
We strong here. Just try to size me.
I mean, you know he's got a camp full of yes men. Darren Waller. You know he's got a camp full of yes men because they allow him to do that. I'd be like, dude, man, I don't want to say anything, but you need to learn to catch the ball. To Brecht once said, it's not a bad song. I think he needs to focus on football a little bit longer. El Gigante says Shane needs to have the redraft in 2007 so for us to have a chance in 2024. Hit on 1 and 2 and mid-tier level free agents, make mismanaging the cap. Here's the problem. He needs a 2007-2011 draft where everyone contributed. Because you got 38 guys under roster. 10 of them are worth anything. You're going to rely on your draft. You got, I forget how many picks in the first 70, but we heard this last year too. And your building blocks, you knocked it out of the park with Banks. And honestly, JMS, I kept saying it over and over again. People get mad at me and I get mad at me. I just said he's undersized. And people are like, well, Jason Kelsey's undersized. Yeah, Jason Kelsey is probably going to be a Hall of Famer. And for every time I bring up Wan'Dale Robinson, someone brings up Kadarius Toney. Every time I bring up Wan'Dale Robinson, someone wants to bring up Tyreek Hill. And I always tell them, listen, you want to bring up Tyreek Hill, I bring up Gerald the Ice Cube McNeil. Small receivers have issues in this league. So, I mean, he's got to nail this, and he's got to nail free agency because he doesn't have all this money that people think he's have. Because people are like, well, he's got $28 million, he can probably get up to like 60. Great. When that means you have like 36 players under contract. That means every one of your draft choices have to make the team. That makes all the guys that you had last year and year before need to make the team. And then you need to nail it on free agency.
That's what she said.
Waller's wife is a better athlete than musician. Shane and Dable Lunzes are abysmal. I don't think they're abysmal. I think the things and the rumblings that we're hearing about Shane, it's more concerning than miserable. I do think that. I mean, I'm going to go with that. Let's see here. Smash the like button. You know it. OGR says, I think Waller's rap needs to be my theme song because people will know the disaster that is about to step in on the mic. No, you're what you call it. You're good, OGR. You're good. Why is it doing? What's wrong with my computer today? Well, something very wrong here today. We have where is it? We have music for I have music for you. Hold on. Where's your music? Hold on, everyone, amuse yourselves. I gotta find OGR's music. All right, here we go. Let's see here. We have to have here's OGR's music. It's OGR's music. Because he is Lex Luthor. Good morning, Mark Stewart. What's up, my friend? If Joe Shane doesn't get it right, goodbye. I don't know if you could say goodbye. I mean, you can say goodbye. You can easily say goodbye. But I think the coach is going to go first. It's going to be like the whole situation the Giants always do. You fire your coordinators, you fire your head coach, then you fire your general manager, then the owner is fed up, and then he fires the general manager. Admiral says, Tim, can you hit the jersey soundboard? But you want Jersey Shore Tommy? Hold on, let me see if I can find Jersey. I actually took Jersey Shore Tommy off. Here we go. Jersey Shore Tommy. Wait for the beat to drop. I should charge him $1.98 every time I play that. Daryl says, I hate the narrative that we can't draft a quarterback in the first round. No, because it might not work out. And the mindset of the franchise back. Newsflash, people, we already set the franchise back by signing Jones. You're not wrong. Just do it. You're at 6. Move out of the. Okay. Go to 1 because you know if the Bears trade 1, someone's taking a quarterback. You know Washington's taking a quarterback. You know New England's taking a quarterback. So who are you going to have left? Because you're probably going to go Caleb, May, Daniels. Who you got left? You're going to go with J.J. McCarthy later in the draft? Please. God, no, please. Bo Nix. Michael Penix. I love Penix. Injuries and the windup, that scares me a lot. And I've said it before. Mike Glenn says, with the rookie contracts, you don't have to set your franchise up back a decade. Failure to move on for a quarterback is what sets your franchise back. Here you go. There you go. Even if you take a quarterback number 1 overall, it's going to be no less worse. It's going to be a lot less worse, actually, than the contract you gave Daniel Jones. And if he fails, so be it. We already have a failed quarterback going into year 6. Year 6, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Year 6. Can someone explain that to me? Avery says, Waller's it's featured rapping on the same songs in the new Madden. It's as good as his hamstring. Hey-oh. We got Big Don out there gifting OGR memberships. You get an OGR membership, you know what you get? You're going to get all the videos early. Sometimes I even put them out a day early. So you get all the content up front. I'm actually going to be thinking about doing an OG member chat line only. So that's in the works as well. So we got a witch call to him. Tag says Tariq Hill is very fast, and redefined it in I mean, here's the thing. I've said this before about Jalen Hyatt. I love Jalen Hyatt. I thought the Giants took him in the first round, he would have been fine. I wouldn't have had a problem with it. Took him in the third, it was even better. I thought he was going to need to be like Devontae Smith. I thought he was going to need to use his speed and quickness to get off the line because he's a little bit slight of build. And he was going to have to do that because he was going to get jammed up by bigger corners. And that's what happened. He has a difficulty getting off the line and getting into his routes. And Tariq Hill understands. And Tariq Hill is actually 2 inches taller and bigger than Wanda Robinson. Not that I'm comparing it to, but to the Tariq Hill point. So, and Tariq Hill knows how to use his speed, using his quickness, and he's built like a baby bull. He could get off the line. Gary says, I want 2 O-linemen in the first 4 rounds. How many O-linemen do we need to take, though? And I'm not trying to be mean, Gary, but how many O-linemen do we need to continuously take in the first couple rounds? We take a lot of them. And you could blame and here's the other thing. We talked about this. Nobody wants to talk about the talent. Everyone wants to talk about the coaching because it's easier to admit that the talent is good and the coaching was the failure, because then you would have to admit you wasted a draft choice on these offensive linemen. I'm not saying JMS is going to be bad. I'm just saying this. The day he came out and he dropped all that weight coming out of Minnesota, I said it immediately. He is going to have problems with the bull rushers. He's going to have a problem with the power guys, and he's going to be overmatched. And he was going to have to learn to use his technique and his leverage to be successful as a starting center. And that's what happened. It wasn't a slight towards the kid. I wasn't trying to bash the kid. Like I said, I mean, he's a great kid. I enjoyed I enjoyed the time I had an opportunity to meet him. Here's my nephew. There's me and my nephew just hanging out. Same Joker smile, same chin. Well, we really do look like we are related. But, at the end of the day, it was this, it was nothing. He is a big, I'm not a small man, and he's a big man. But the problem is there is NFL big. There's everyday big, and there is NFL big. We got the big old super chat from the Big Dons and listening to the show as I write these wine orders, and you are welcome for the gifted memberships, you heathens. I love Big Don. Big Don's going to be on again. We had Big Don on the other day when he was at work or going to work. So, you got to give a big salute, big shout out to Big Don. Big Don needs his own theme music. I got to work on that because I'm waiting for T-Brad because, like I said, I'm going to drop the new T-Brad beat because I worked on T-Brad's theme music for like a week ever since last Sunday. Gary says, we got the 2 offensive linemen. OG knockouts. A rookie can win the same amount of games as Daniel Jones. That's what you're all telling me. Shaking my head. Look at CJ Stroud. Yeah, oh my God. Remember what, 7 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever it was, that nobody wanted Lamar Jackson because Daniel Jones was a better quarterback. We don't need Lamar Jackson. We don't need to pay him $40 million a year. We have Daniel Jones. Even after even after everything with OBJ, they still beat the Texans. They still beat the bejesus out of the Texans. Hit the like button, says James Williams. Make sure you do that. Gaiman says, Giants draft 6 quarterback. Giant fans will be like, he could be the next Tom Brady. Of course he is. I think it was great that what James said. Well, James Williams pointed this out. We need to get out of that pick because of the symbolism with that pick. With Daniel Jones being picked 6, and we're picking 6 now, and Daniel Jones is in year 6. So, according to that, we need to trade up. If we draft this JJ McCarthy, I am done, completely done. I'm with you on that, James. Zach Attack says James Williams only saying that because Michigan won. Bruce says Green Bay moved on from Aaron Rodgers and still hoping for Jones to learn how to throw the ball downfield. You know what I love? It's funny. They didn't just move on. They didn't just move on from Aaron Rodgers. They moved on from Brett Favre to go to Aaron Rodgers, and then they move on from Aaron Rodgers to go to Jordan Love. That's crazy. Oh my God. I'm trying to find something here. Just everyone just bear with me. Like I said, I'm tired. I feel bad. Feel bad for the dog. We had a long ride. We had to drive almost all the way to Pittsburgh to get him. Which is not close. And I laughed though because he couldn't eat. So we had to wait to feed him. So we fed him and he was still hungry. So he was crying all night because of the fact that he was hungry. Let's see here. Captain says, what's the best middle linebacker of all time past 2000? Oh, I don't know. You got to go, Zach Thomas ranks up there. Urlacher ranks up there. It really depends. Zach Attack says, Twitter makes my IQ top every time I read it. James Williams says, did OBJ did an interview talking about the boat trip like we really wanted to hear back? That's right. I love it because his thought process was the reason the boat trip screwed them up was because the fact that he's so sensitive. And when he got all the negative publicity and feedback for the boat trip, he was just like, it just affected me. I love OBJ, man. I really do. But sometimes he says shit. I'm just like, oh my God. Kelvin says solo mock draft that has trading back up into the first round with the Ravens to grab Knicks after drafting Neighbors. You know what's funny? I said this before. If you want to take a wide receiver in the first round, if you want to take a wide receiver at 6, I would trade out of 6. I would try to get another pick in the low 20s, and then pick up the receiver, the kid from Florida State. And then I would turn around and draft a quarterback because I do think one of these quarterbacks is going to fall. Green Bay model works. Ray Lewis, right? I actually have a Ray Lewis jersey. I just got an autographed Ray Lewis jersey. I got to Ray Lewis. Yeah, I mean Ray Lewis, except for the fact that he's a murderer. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean about it. I'm not trying to lie about it. But if you look at all the facts and look at all the speculation, look at everything that's said, and the fact that he he threw out the weapon, he changed his clothes and everything else, great linebacker. He got away with it. So I guess he was a better murderer than, as a linebacker as well. But if you want to be honest, that's just what we're going to talk about. Michael says, I want to get a quarterback in the first round. Anything else is unacceptable. That's like Grey Poupon. We should. We have looked at this draft. And I'm waiting. You know what I'm waiting? You know what I'm really waiting for? And people are going to be like, you're being mean again. And I don't really care because I'm tired. I am waiting for all the mock drafts. I am waiting for the content creators who cannot figure out any other content to create have mock draft 1, mock draft 8, mock draft 47. This is the final mock draft 99. This is the final before the final mock draft 102. We do one mock draft, and that's it. But if I keep looking at, like I said, my opinion, I said it before, I think if the Bears trade out, someone's going to take Caleb. I still think that Drake May is going to Washington. Yay, the puppy's finally sleeping on his own. Yay. I do think Jaden Daniels is going to go to New England. I think Harrison's going to go to Arizona. I think I do think that the Chargers are either going to take an offensive lineman like Alt, or they're going to go with wide receiver. And yeah, I think the Malik from LSU could be that the Giants pick at 6. But then, like I said, if you do that, you need to trade back and later into the draft and go get a quarterback. Because I'm trying to figure out what I was going through my draft a little bit. I was just goofing around with it. Where do I have Penix falling? And I have Penix falling. Where do I have Penix falling to? I have Penix falling below 17. And it's not a slight against Penix. I think the injuries, I think the way the draft is going to break out after you have that run of quarterbacks, you're not going to see another quarterback taken till much later in the draft. So like I said, if I'm the Giants, I trade back into the draft. It also depends on what Tampa's going to do with Baker Mayfield. But I trade back into the draft and I pick up Penix. I trade back in between like 21 to 26 and I pick up Penix. I use that extra second round pick that I have and trade it right back up into the draft. And this way I have my wide receiver and then I have my quarterback of the future. And then if I get him later in the draft, I'm saving on that cap space. But at the end of the day, if it's me, I take a big swing. I take the huge swing and I go for Caleb. I know a lot of people are like, well, he's a whiner. He's this, he's that. I don't care. I said this before. I don't care if my quarterback is purple from Mars wearing Lee press on nails, as long as he can throw the fucking ball, as long as he can look down the field, as long as he can move the team, as long as he has pocket awareness, as long as he has a pocket presence, as long as he has an understanding of the offense and can literally do more inside the 20 than anything else. I mean, it's, like I said, Hank Stram said it best.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
We got to matriculate the ball down the field. We got to get in the red zone. We got to score.
That's what she said.
This is what we need to do. Captain Matumbo says Crosby would have nailed it with the field goal yesterday for the Packers for sure. Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm not really into the games right now. I watched the Baltimore game. I thought that the 49ers were going to win. I thought they were going to win a little bit more handily like that. I think Detroit really has shown something to a lot of people. So I'm very curious about the Buccaneers and Lions game today. And I got my brother out there. You know, he's repping for White Vic. So you know what? I got the Bills and the Chiefs at 6:30. You know, I'm good, man. I got the dog. I'm happy. Let's see here. Let's see. Zach Graham Gano should be in the Ring of Honor. He scored the most points. Kelvin, yeah, it's true. Kelvin says, what would you say has the most to lose next season? Who has the most to lose next season for the Giants? Your entire coaching staff. And if the rumors are true that Kafka is unhappy with Brian Dable and everything going on in the coaching staff. So we did a video yesterday about it. I'm sorry I missed the premiere. I was actually driving up to get the dog. It's great. You drive up in 17-degree weather. You're on major highways the entire way, and you're in the mountains. And it was great because at one point in time, I didn't tell my wife, I was 50-50 that we were getting home because something broke away in the hub of my front tire. And I was hoping it was snow. But then I was also thinking, well, something's frozen in the hub. That's how cold it was. We were still 3 hours away, and I was 50-50 we were going to make it home. But you never want to tell those things to people. Troy Polamalu or Ed Reed. Longevity and you want to go with had a longer career and a better career in reference to that, you go Polamalu. If you want to go for someone that it was more meteoric in his career, you're going to go Ed Reed. Zagatag says, I like the UCLA pass rusher if the Giants go back to that. Right, we're going to talk about Zagatag's going to be on a little bit, so get ready, Zach, because we're going to talk about that. JJ McCarthy seems to be the most New England pick of the New England picks. I thought this, if Belichick was in New England, I think they would have traded out of that spot and taken JJ McCarthy later in the draft. I actually agree with that 100%. Gaiman says you can't use the Green Bay model if you don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. Well, Jordan Love's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. And the fact that you have to remember, Mr. Fitness, salute. You got to think about this for a minute, though. I mean, Julian Love's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. Phil Simms should be in the Hall of Fame, but he's not technically a Hall of Fame quarterback. He won you a Super Bowl. Eli Manning should be in Hall of Fame. We'll see what happens. I think more people. Oh, great! You lived an hour away from Pittsburgh. Oh, you know what? I think we passed Morgantown. That's great, Zach. I would have just called you. You could have given him the highway and picked us up. You could have came and got us. It would have been great. We would have had Zach. We would have had the dog and Zach attack all that. That would have been great. There are plenty of plenty of guys that won Super Bowls that aren't Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And the Hall of Fame model only gave you one Super Bowl for Aaron Rodgers and one Super Bowl for Brett Favre. Win, I should say. Michael, the Texans went from one of the worst teams in the league to winning a playoff game, drafting C.J. Stroud. We talked about that, man. That is the key. They showed that you can win. And we talked about this. Nico Collins had, if you combine his first 3 seasons, they equaled last year because he had over 1,000 yards. But CJ lost his top 3 weapons throughout the season. Yes, he has Singletary as his running back, but he also really didn't have much of an offensive line. But somehow they built a system around him which allowed them to be successful. And it was because someone did a great job as the head coach. And that's what Dable needs to do. We have to hope that the rumors that Dable's a nut aren't true. That's what we have to hope. Because there is some craziness coming out of here about some of the things about Brian Dable and some of the things that he does. And you want to take, certain reports with a grain of salt, that's fine. But when you have multitudes of reports from different sources that's saying that he is a little nutty, that he takes things too personally, that he doesn't let things go. What do you have to, what do you have to look at then? What do you think about that? And I don't know. And I can't tell you this because it's one of those things that you just don't want to believe it. But also it's one of those things that you're just kind of like, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. So you got to hope that he can turn it around. You got to hope that
IQs just dropped sharply while I was away.
That he finds that football acumen that made him successful, that 6-2 start, 7-2 start, excuse me, that made him successful during that year. And I know a lot of it's because of the fact that the talent that they played and the way the ball bounced and they got lucky on a bunch of plays. But at the end of the day, you have to hope that he gets it right. We got Mr. Fitness in the salute. Zach Attack, we already got that. This is an hour away. No, I'm saying Brett Favre and Aaron Jones was. Oh, no, I understand what you're saying, but the model works. This is the model, though. The model is you don't have to have a Hall of Fame quarterback to make the model work. You can have a quarterback that has a consistency. Eli Manning, like I said, people will say Eli Manning won more. Eli Manning won the same amount of Super Bowls as Brett Favre and Rodgers combined. And a lot of people would say that it would probably go Rodgers, Favre, Manning if you were ranking them. But he's got more rings. So it shows as long as your quarterback is consistent and big and great and big moments, then that's, I think that's where you got to take a look at it. That's where you got to kind of sit there and go, hey, you know what? Maybe there is something here. I'm trying to find what is odds B-Rad G. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something on the soundboard and I can't find it because we lost power. So everything on my soundboard got fried. So now I have 200 something sound effects that I have to go through and re-put on the board. Mr. Fitness says they were successful with a shitty line. It can be done. You're right. Zach says, I feel like the Ravens were favored by the refs a bit. I think there's a lot of teams that the NFL, people think the NFL want to see succeed. And I think the Ravens are one of those teams that people are like, well, this is a good story. And I'm not picking on you, Zach, but they're like this. They said this is a good story and we got to keep going with it because, but it doesn't. It's just the way it is. The refs suck this year. We need a better quarterback, Mr. Fitness says, and we need a better coach. OG says, Tim, remember Joe Shane wanted CJ Stroud, but Maris said, no, let's not forget that. But he was going to have to go up. He was going to have to go up to the top of the draft to get him. So there was no way he was going to get him. McAdoo wanted Patrick Mahomes. So it's not about what you have, what you can think you can do. It's what you've done. Remember, Dable hired all these assistants. Yeah, these are all that's a great point. These are all Dable's guys. And it's one of those things, again, you sit there, and do you think that Dable has a little craziness?
Are you crazy? Ow! Yeah, I'm crazy. What made you think I was sane?
Do you think he's got a little craziness in him? I do. I think there's a little nuttiness in that head. I think in his mind, winning the Coach of the Year kind of blew up his head even more. And because he doesn't have a hat, he doesn't have any hair or wear a hat, you can see his head's getting bigger and bigger. Sorry. Sorry. OGR says Brian Dable's upset that Mara has his hand in everything like Jerry Jones. Yeah, but you knew that going into the organization. And I agree with you. I really do agree with you with that thought process. But you knew this going into the organization. You knew this during the selection process of not only the general manager, but the head coach. There was so much speculation. Would Joe Shane be able to hire his guy? And his guy was evidently Brian Dable. So he hired him, which was great for Shane. But then at the end of the day, it's kind of like, well, you were able to hire your guy. What has your guy done? And that's kind of the question I have. What has your guy truly done to be successful? He had the good year. He was successful that first year. So you got to look at it that way. But then year 2 is just a total mess. And all this is coming out. It's just not a good look for the Giants. Mr. Fitness says everything isn't a lie. Even if that Pat Leonard is exaggerating something, truth is there. Something very broken going on in year 3. It's funny that everyone wants to bash Pat Leonard. And I'm not saying you, Mr. Fitness. I'm just saying in general, a lot of people want to bash Pat Leonard. But here's the problem. A lot of the shit that people said that was crap coming out of Pat Leonard turned out to be true. And you have a lot of people trying to deflect the Pat Leonard stories. You got a lot of giant heads out there basically just saying, I'm sorry. I lost my voice. I don't know. Evidently the soundboard. I mean, like I said, everything got screwed up on the soundboard because of what happened yesterday. And I don't know what's going on here. Hold on. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, there we go.
There we go. Now we got Carl Banks.
Yeah, everybody leave. These guys alone. Pat Leonard sucks.
I mean, literally, that's what Carl Banks is like. And Carl Banks goes on Twitter and bashes Pat Leonard because of the fact that Pat Leonard is charging people to read his stories on certain websites. I don't know which website it is. And then I brought it up to Carl. I said, aren't you paid by the Giants? So if you're telling me that you are disenchanted with Pat Leonard because he is giving an opinion and making people pay for it, you are giving me an opinion and you are paid by the organization that you need to give a valid opinion to so you could keep your job. So who should I believe less? The guy's getting paid by the team, or the guy's just paying other people to buy his article or buy his work? Who has more skin in the game in reference to putting out disinformation? Would it be the guy that works for the team who's getting paid by the team, or the guy who's putting out articles and making people pay for the articles? May go to the Pittsburgh Giants game next year. Get a 10% discount since I'm a college student. Oh, Mr. Braggart, I'm a college student. College boy. Well, that's pretty cool, Zach. I think that was an open invitation. Give me 10% off. James Williams said, think about this. The Packers had Favre before Eli, and then they had Aaron Rodgers, and we had Eli, and now they have Jordan Love after Eli is retired. For years, our scouts suck. Zach Attack says, Eli Manning has more playoff wins than the Dak and Tony Romo. That's not saying much. I think I have more playoff wins. Anyone who uses Pro Football Focus to prove that point is automatically an idiot. Yeah, we're not going to get it. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into the Pro Football Focus thing. I'm still waiting for T-Brad, man. And I also got to get Zach Attack on here as well. James Williams says, Cam Newton was better than Dak. You just have to say that. Fox Sports Radio and Colin Cowherd. Cam Newton won an MVP. Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl. Cam Newton has more of an issue because of the fact that he used to say some crazy stuff and used to wear some crazy clothes and used to do some crazy things during press conferences. I remember the one game early in his career that the Giants beat him. And I think that was the Ramsey Barton breakout game, or the one breakout game he had. And I loved it because they kept asking him questions, and they'd be like, Cam, on that 3rd and 4, when you overthrew the wide receiver, what was it? What confused you? Was it the route, or was the mic sliding over into protection? And Cam would look at the leg. Next question. Mr. Fitness says, you're right. A lot of what the fans didn't want to hear was coming from Pat. However, a lot of it seemed to be right on the money. That's the problem. A lot of it seems to be on the money. A lot of it seems to be on the money. And then you had the other guy come out with the story that Wink went into Dable's office and cursed him out. And it happens to be a beat writer who's very friendly with the Giants front office and always seems to be fed stories that discredit the Giants coaches. Just ask Patrick Graham, who was like, do you want to come to New York? No, no, I'm not coming there. So Patrick Graham took a lateral move to Vegas to get out of the dysfunctionness of the Giant organization. Yes, Zach, he does work for the Daily News, but he also has some paid articles or something like that. I forget it. You're right, 100%. Daryl Smith says, Pat Leonard has been right more times than not, and fans don't like it. I think that's the question. I do think that is why people hate Pat Leonard. I think that's why a lot of people hate me. And I love the people that send me clips and tweets and things from Zach does it, Big Blue Forever does it, Giants Mung Min does it, Joey G does it. There's a lot of people that send me clips and snippets of things that I've said that are said by other content creators and other people, and they're always like, well, they stole this from you. And sometimes I don't believe it. Sometimes it's, you know what, it happens, you know. But then sometimes I read some of this stuff and it's like, you know, they're actually saying it verbatim of what I said. And I just laugh because it just makes you think for a second. You know, maybe people, when they dislike me, it's because I'm right, but then they take what I say and they take it as their own to make themselves look right. So, and I can kind of understand the Pat Leonard thing a little bit, because a lot of people bash Pat Leonard, but a lot of times Pat Leonard's right. Mr. Fitness says Carl Banks sounds like Paul DiNardo when he starts fanning. He really does. I love Carl Banks. I still have the Carl. I might take the Carl Banks helmet off the computer because Carl Banks is getting a little wacky for me. He's trying to relive his dreams. He's trying to relive the bad fellows back in the 90s. He's trying to be the shill for the Giants, but then he's trying to be the voice of reason. And then he goes on all the Twitter streams and everything else. It's just like, dude, man, I mean, like, just you shill for this team. You are their voice. So I'm going to take everything that you say with a grain of salt. I take everything that Pat Leonard and every other Giant beat writer says with a grain of salt. But there are a segment of Giant beat writers that get information from the team, because all they ever put out about the team is positive, glowing information. And when you have someone say something negative, that's when people turn around and say, well, they're just being negative and they don't know anything. OG Knockout says Cam Newton is better than Dak. Oh, I agree 100%. Miss Roberts says Cam Newton comments calling some of the quarterbacks game managers has aged like a fine wine. Zagatek says the other beat writers are paid by the Giants organizations, not Pat. You're right. I forgot about that. Great point, Zach. Great point. Moet says, would you give the Bears a call for Fields? I already did a video about it. If they draft a first of all, I think they're going to move on from Fields before draft day. If they move on from Fields, I don't think they're going to, because you don't keep a defensive-minded head coach who had an okay season to draft another quarterback, because you want to keep continuity, because your defense started playing lights out at the end of the year and your offense started clicking. So you want to keep that continuity. So you're not going to do that. You're going to probably keep Fields and trade that pick or draft whomever you want, because I still think you go get an offensive lineman. You can go get an offensive lineman. You can get a wide receiver. You can get whatever you want with that first pick overall, because you need an offensive lineman. You need another wide receiver, and you need a running back. And people with oh my God, the people with. Okay. You can't trade Saquon Barkley to the Bears. Saquon Barkley is not under contract with the Giants. Saquon Barkley would have to agree to a contract and a trade before you can add him into anything. So just saying, I'm going to trade the first pick this year, the first pick next year, a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick on Saquon Barkley to the Bears, and everything's going to be fine. No, a deal needs to be worked out first. Stop. Use that thing between your ears up here. Stop. Think a minute. Mike, what's up, brother? Did you see the dumb reporter who asked the Bucs coach how did he get his team ready for the cold in Detroit? No, I did not see that. Cognitive dissonance. This fan base is so high. I don't disagree. Mr. Fitness says, when people call you negative, you ask them, but am I a liar? Ooh, I like that. I didn't think about that. Because I get called out all the time. You have other people out there now who are trying to be honest and trying to be almost trying to be negative. And I love it because they're doing it on their guides now. I'm just being honest about this fan base. This is the great thing about giant social media and people that get paid to work on giant social media. I'm going to be honest about this. I'm going to throw this right out there. I'm going to be 100% fucking honest. You got people out there that were raw for a year and change until everything fell apart because that got you the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops and got you paid revenue wise. Then you all of a sudden, a lot of those people have turned and have started now being so honest and somewhat forthright and negative because that's the way you get the likes, the clicks, the bleeps, and the boops right now because people are so disenchanted with this fan base. So if we look at it that way and we say a lot of people get their information from social media, who's more dishonest then? The content creators who change with the prevailing winds, or Pat Leonard, who doesn't work for the organization, who is technically a beat writer and kind of more of an investigative journalist. So who are you going to believe more then? I don't know. It just bugs me. David says, I think Jones' injury history is more of the reason to move on from him. He missed the second half of 2 seasons, out of 5. It will happen again if you stick with him. Yeah, he's got 2 neck injuries and an ACL. I agree, 100%. But he wasn't playing well before he had the neck. He was 1-4 before he had the neck injury, and he had 1 good half against Arizona. Danny Dud says, Will Dale will be gone first or Jones? They may be both gone at the same time. I was thinking about this. They could both be gone at the same time. Diet Ghost says 1 week closer to the real off season. Tim, I know we're getting there. We're slowly getting. We're doing one of these. We're doing the $6 million man. We're running at lightning pace. Danny Dudd says also, who's going to? I think they're both going to get fired at the same time. Kafka is definitely going to be gone before anyone. I agree with that. Zach says if Saquon Barkley would take the tag and be traded to the Bears, if I was Saquon Barkley, would I take the tag and be traded to the Bears? That's a good question, Zach. Would I sign the tag just to go to the Bears? Let's see. Would I do that? The Bears were 7-10 last year. They really came on the end. The defense really came on at the end of the year, if you think about it. What you got? What's his name? Khalil Herbert. And you have what you have? You have Foreman too as a running back. Herbert's always hurt. And you have a receiving core that's being built. If you get an offensive line, if I'm Saquon Barkley, do I do that? I'm looking at the Bears right now. Yeah, I would sign the tag and go to the Bears. I would do that. Yeah, I would do that because at the end of the day, it makes more sense for the Bears because you'll get your running back, you'll get your franchise running back, you'll get a guy you can pair with Fields. I think that would be a great move. And also you got to remember the Bears right now have like 50 million in cap space. They're going to get more. They have like 50 million, so they could absorb at guaranteed. So what he gets 20% more on the second tag. Is it 20% more? I think it's 20% more. I don't remember off the top of my head. On that second tag, and he got 10 million. Yeah, I actually would do it. I would do it. Yes, if I'm Saquon, I would do it. If I was the Giants, I would do it. OG says, for all the people that said you are negative, tell them to look at the Giants' record since the last time they won a Super Bowl. Great point. For all the people that call you negative, bad type. Oh, no, I understand what you're saying. Trisha says, I like DJ. I think he wants to be a Giant. The O-line didn't hold up to letting him. Here's the problem. How come the other 2 quarterbacks, one who's over the hill and one who's a never was, won 5 games, went 5-5. And DJ, I think they went 5. Didn't they go 5-5? I think it went 5. And DJ only won 1 game. Talent didn't get better. The offensive line get better. How did Tyrod Taylor almost have 2 300-yard passing games in a row the last 2 games of the season? Everything didn't get better. Wide receivers didn't get better. Line didn't get any better. Zach Attack says, what backup quarterback wants to come to New York if Dable's a nutcase? Oh, that's a great point. This is the other thing. People are like, well, Tyrod, we'll just re-sign Tyrod Taylor. What makes you think that Tyrod Taylor wants to come back? If you're Tyrod Taylor and you're in the twilight of your career, what makes you think that you want to come back to New York? Wouldn't you want to go somewhere to finish out to get a chance to win and get a ring as a backup for a good team? James, for all the people that call you negative, tell them to come see me. Left side, strong side. But the problem is you'd have a lot of people coming to see you. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit the like button for the newest addition to the OBB house, for our buddy, Mr. Ralphie. If you don't hit the like button for Ralphie, then you don't like dogs. You're a cat person. If you got a cat person, get the hell out of here. Joking. Not really. I don't like cats. I'm not a cat fan. OG says Daniel Jones has to be the third worst draft pick in Giants history. What are the first two? I have two in my mind. But what are the first two? What are your first two worst draft points? Draft picks. OG, I'm just curious. Jones has to be had a great second half against the Cardinals, only to play prevent. That's the problem. We talked about this. We talked about this. The Cardinals, because this was early in the season, the Cardinals went from blitzing in the first half and winning the line of scrimmage and rattling the quarterback, and then turning around and going to a Tampa 2 the second half and limited the number of times they were blitzing. Cutthroat, don't be surprised if he goes to Dallas. I wouldn't be surprised with that. What's up, Trisha? Okay. Like I said, it's all nothing but love. Nothing but love. It's all nothing but love. Joey G, we were just talking about you. Some content creators creators act like they work for the Giants instead of saying straightforward things. I love it because I was talking to Zach. We're going to have Zach on in a couple minutes, so Zach, get ready. I was talking to Zach the other day. No. I was talking to Rob. I was talking to R0B yesterday. He called me up and he goes, how do I get an internal source with the Giants? And I said, well, what do you mean with that? I said, the person that I used to get information from under the Gettleman regime, they left. So I don't really have anyone in around East Rutherford anymore that gives us any tidbits of insight. But he goes, every content creator now has, well, we have this inside source that are telling us things. And it was Zach Attack. I can't remember what channel it was, but they have an inside source, and it turned out to be John Mara's golfing buddy. And I remember laughing so hard, going, so you really think that John Mara goes out golfing and tells his golfing buddy everything that's going on? So I have a new source. It's John Mara's nephew's uncle's gardener's best friend's uncle, who happens to be on the third side of his stepbrother's adopted sister. So that information should be pretty correct. Mark Hernandez says, what's going on, Mark? Philly and Green Bay defense are trash. That's why Tyrod had that many passing yards. Yeah, but Daniel Jones played up against some trash defenses too and couldn't put up 150. Let's see here. Joe Shane has to trade up to a couple of spots to get either Caleb Drake or Jaden or Penix. The quarterback spot should be the priority. We have enough other positions that Tyrod proved. We really don't. We really don't, to be honest. We really don't have other positions because we go back and watch the videos that we did, because of the fact that we pointed out that this roster right now is kind of devoid of talent. This roster at the moment is you look at the roster and you're kind of like looking at it like, well, what the hell's going on here? And you try to take away with it and look at it from a perspective that you're just kind of looking at it overall going, okay, well, there's a lot of stuff going on here that doesn't make sense. There's a lot of stuff that they do that doesn't make sense. So, hold on, I'm looking up something here. All right, hold on, guys. I'm trying to type something here. Someone's asking me a question. So no, someone's trying to ask me a question here, and I can't find the question. I can't find the question of the person that I'm asking. I do apologize. I'm trying to find the answer for you. So hopefully, just everyone just bear. This is a different question. This isn't a question that people. Why is I don't know, people. Why are you asking me this question? I don't know. Why would I know the answer to this question? I love when people that think I know all the answers to every question. I don't know all the answers to every question. So just so everyone knows that I don't have the answers to everything. But let's see here. I'm just trying. All right, well, let's get back to the show because I don't know the answer. I'm sorry. Dave Brown is the number one bust at Lowell, says Zagtag. Dave Brown we gotta remember Dave Brown was a supplemental draft pick. So I don't call him the greatest bust in Giant history. I mean, everyone knows that my greatest bust in Giant history, that no one even knows who he is Joe Don Looney. Joe Don Looney was drafted by the Giants. I can't remember when he was drafted. I'm trying to think when he was drafted by the Giants. He was drafted in the first round, 12th by the Giants in 1964. He didn't even play for the Giants. He racked up so many fines in training camp that the Giants turned around and traded him over to the Colts. And then he had such a pedestrian career with the Colts, and he was such a malcontent with the Colts that Don Shula asked him to go run in a play. He wasn't really playing. And Shula said to Looney, hey, listen, go in and take the play in and go. And he basically told Don Shula, I'm not Western Union. You want someone to go and tell someone else to go in and bring in the play. I'm not Western Union. So I got to go. I always go with Joe Don Looney. Eric Flowers was terrible as well. I hate cats. Don't hate him. I don't hate things. Mr. Fitness says Flowers and Dave Brown. Oh my God. If you want to go with the worst picks, if you want to go modern era, you always have, you got Gerard Bunch, you got George Adams, you got Cedric Jones. I mean, I think those would be the ones that most that come up to my mind. Like Cedric Jones, which is a waste. Let's see here. The Giants are the Washington Generals of the NFC East. First of all, it was the Washington, Richard. It's the Washington Federals, who then turned out to be the Orlando Predators, I believe, and then went on to be the USFL and the AFL Orlando Predators. So first of all, it's the Washington Federals, and Billy 2-Yard Taylor played with them, and so just. No correction. Mr. Albert says also DeVito and Tyrod were working with the backup O-line, not the starters. I wonder what it would look like if they had a good quarterback behind the starting line. Great point. Ron Dane was a bad pick. Ron Dane was a real bad pick. Mr. Matumbo said Knicks to reach the finals this year. Confirmed. I wish they were. They're still a shooting guard away. The problem with the Knicks is RJ Barrett has really turned it around in Toronto because he doesn't have to share the ball, and he's really showing what he can do. And he's attacking the rim again with both his left and his right.
That's what she said.
And the problem is with the Knicks is you took away you basically took away 30 points from your offense, getting rid of Barrett and quickly, and you have yet to replace that. And the issue is the Knicks bench before the Quickly trade was 6th overall in scoring, and now they're like 28th. So they need to find something off the bench. They need to find a consistency. They need to find a fluidity, because if Randall and Brunson aren't on that game, or aren't on their game, the Knicks don't win. OGR makes it sound worse. Timothy, hey, everyone in the chat, says Christopher. Danny Dead says, when John Mara addresses the press, he needs to answer questions about his love affair for Daniel Jones. Mr. Jones, at some point in time, the team needs a clean break from what they've been doing. It seems like Shane and Dable have brought in the refitted Dave Gettleman failed project. You're not wrong. DeAndre Baker he does rank up there as well, but DeAndre Baker had a trade back in to get him. If the Giants players said, let's see, if it was taking Giants, who said it? Mr. D4, Giant. If you're talking, it was talking Giants who said it. Oh, when we talk about the other thing. Okay, Mr. D4 and Madden football player. I was D3. I was D3 for a year. So 2 years almost. And then went to D1, but I was D3. So nothing wrong with D4. Just if you're D4 and you don't play, that's you might as well just call yourself high school. Diet Coach says we need a quarterback, but we are definitely lacking talent. We are lacking talent. Motor Hernandez says, did DJ play with the same players the other quarterbacks did throughout the season? No, he didn't. What players were different? Oh, we had Justin Pugh, who gave up 8 sacks and tied the league and gave up almost 40 pressures. They played without Evan Neal on the line and played with guys that just were revolving doors. You're right. They didn't. Let's see. Mr. Fitness says we need a quarterback who has pocket presence and can throw on the run. I completely given up on the idea you can build a good O-line. I don't think I've given up on the fact that you can build an O-line. I haven't given up on that fact. Zach Attack, I'm going to drop the chat in the link for the Zach Attack. Here you go, Zach. I'm going to drop the chat in the links. I'm just looking at what time it is. I'm going to drop the chat in the link here. So we're going to have Zach Attack on and whomever else wants to pop on by. I don't think you can completely give up, but you just can't keep drafting guys. Johnny ABA says a lot of content creators just don't regurgitate information, just do regurgitate information. But as long as you know they're getting it, it's decent entertainment. If I want a real unique, non-regurgitated opinion, I definitely go to YouTube. Well, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. Thank you. I could be more popular. If you know what, we don't have a Zach Attack theme song. So I'm going to have to give him a little bit of T-Brads.
Give me the honey.
Oh, yeah. Zach Attack in the His House. This is the T-Brad music. I love Zach Attack because he sent me a DM the other day and made me laugh. And he goes, well, you have to have me on because you need someone with the young perspective, from the youth perspective. And I'm like, damn. It's like, damn. I was like, Zach, hold on. Here's Tim. Watch out. Chopped his motherfucking head off. What's up, my brother? What's going on?
Nothing much. How about you?
I'm doing well today. We can actually see you today. You're in a bright room. You're not in the dungeon. They evidently, when you went back to school, they left you in the dungeon a little too long.
It's my life requirement. It's not that good.
Well, that's all right. I lived in some dumps, and everyone knows that. And T-Bird will be on a moment to attest where I lived. You were talking about an I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I'm going to. You talked about an offensive lineman that that West Virginia has.
Yes.
That you said was pretty good, and I was going to do some research on it, but I kind of lied because I didn't really feel like doing it. So I was kind of hoping you could tell us who that was again and give us a little bit more information about that, because like I said, you gave us with the Bryce Wheaton Ford thing, you gave us some of the greatest information I think that was out there on YouTube and just in general, because you really gave a firsthand knowledge followed up with photos, of where you were getting this information from. So who is this offensive lineman again, and why should the Giants look at him?
So it's Zach Frazier. He's a really good center. What he does, he finishes plays, because what J&F doesn't do, he doesn't finish. So he plays into the whistle, doesn't give up. And I mean, mistake, he was 3'11", so
right. You said the last time he was 240.
Yeah, I mean, mistake.
So he is 3'11". Now, can he play other positions outside of center?
I believe they play him as a guard at one point, and he can play guard as well.
Okay, so he has played guard as well, because we do have JMS at center. Is this a guy that could be taken within the first 32, or is this a guy that you think is going to go within the first 64?
Just first 64 at this point.
So you think he's a second? So you think he's a second round pick?
Yes.
Is he a low second round pick, or is he a high second rounder?
Mid-tier second round pick.
Mid-tier second round pick. So is he a guy that technique wise, because you watch him and you would know, is he a guy technique wise can fit in with the whatever the hell the Giant offensive line philosophy is? Yeah.
So since the Raiders, we had the Raiders offensive line, West Virginia plays like the Raiders O-line. So since we have that coach from the Raiders, he can be a good fit with the offensive line coach.
So he would be a good fit with the offensive line coach. Okay, so that's kind of my question, because I was curious about it, because I was going to look him up, and then I forgot what the name was. And then I was too lazy to type in West Virginia offensive line, because that would have just being old. I don't really know how Google works, so I have to make sure. That's why I have Zach on, because he's the young demographic. Oh, Zach, cut me to the quick, man. Cut me to the quick, but that's all right. You see everything that's going on right now with the Giants. You see everything that's fallen down with the draft here. And we've talked about this before, Zach. If you are the Giants sitting there at 6, are you moving out of that spot either up or down to try to grab your quarterback, or are you going to just stand pat and take the best player available that falls to you at 6?
For your best organization, I would have move up.
And where are you going to move? Where are you going to move up to?
Probably win the top 4 if possible.
Okay.
So
you got to give me a trade. You got to give me a trade, though.
I like the Bears trade. We have these. Probably, or if you don't want to trade out that pick, you can trade for Fields.
That was gonna be my next question. Would you trade for Justin Fields? I mean, I've already said it before. I would trade for Justin Fields in a heartbeat.
Yes, I would.
What would you give up to get old Justin Fields?
Probably a 2nd-round pick.
Okay.
A 4th.
Okay.
And probably another 4th.
Wow. You like Justin Fields more than I do, because I would give like a 3 and a 7 for Justin. And like I said, because I think Justin Fields, he is going to have to I think the offense that they run currently in Chicago is going to be totally different for him when he comes in, if he came to New York. Because if we take a look at the offensive philosophy that they run now, but then it's kind of difficult because if you think about this, which offensive philosophy do you think they would run with Justin Fields? The Daniel Jones philosophy or the Tommy DeVito, Tyrod Taylor offense? Because they are totally different offenses.
I believe Tyrod Taylor coming offense, because Fields can make all the reads. Fields can play quarterback. Daniel Jones cannot play quarterback in this league.
So do you think Daniel Jones should be a tight end?
Yes.
I think everyone thinks that Daniel Jones should be a tight end at this point in time because of the fact that it's just the way it is. We got a lot of talk that we're talking about. Rocky Thompson, that's a good one too. And Jim Hicks are bad first round picks as well from Donald. We got a little bit of talk in the chat here about the worst number 1 pick for the Giants. I'm old, so because as you like to point out, I'm old, so I go way back. So like I said, that's why I went with Joe Don Looney. In your era, who would you consider? And don't say Daniel Jones because that's a cop out. Who would you? Because I already see it churning in your head. Daniel Jones.
No, not Jones. Not Jones.
Not Jones. Who would you pick as the worst Giant pick?
Probably DeAndre Baker.
DeAndre Baker. Now, is that because they traded back up into the first round to get him, or because of everything that went on with his career, or what he's done since he's left New York, which is basically nothing?
Yeah, what he's done since New York and trade back up in the first round and get him.
Yeah, I mean, we gave up assets to go. You had to get him and go up access to go get him. The other question is, if you are willing to trade up in that spot for the Giants, this is a question I had. I'm always thinking the fact that there is a potential you could trade down and you can get a little bit more assets and trade back, still get your, like I said, I like the big wide receiver out of Florida State. I've talked about this before. I would trade down into maybe no lower than 15 to grab them. And then I would, if I could, I would try to come back into the first round. Cause I do think in my mind, Penix is going to fall down in this draft. And I think Penix may be in the mid 20s. I would try to trade back into the round then if Penix is available to get that Penix pick. Do you think there's any thought process that the Giants may see this need at 6 to trade back and then try to do something in regards to that, to game assets and maybe grab 2, kind of doing like a DeAndre Baker thing, grabbing 2 players in the first round?
I believe so, but it depends how the first round plays out as well.
Who is your first pick?
If the Bears keep Fields, it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr.
Really? You do think it's going to be Marvin? I'm actually under the same guides. I think if the Bears don't get a king's ransom for the pick that they want, and it was that there was 5 teams that have contacted Ryan Poles, and one of them was the Giants, and one of them was the Eagles, and there was like 2 silly other ones, and I don't believe it. But I could see that. I personally could see them either going Joe Alt or going Marvin Harrison Jr. because they still need a wide receiver and they still don't have an offensive line. I think that can go out and protect Justin Fields. I don't think the thumb injury had to do anything with what happened. But I kind of think that's I think that would be my direction if I'm the Bears. If you're really, because you pair him up with DJ Moore, and then you have Fields, and then you still have Herbert, and then you have the other kid. You know, you get yourself an offensive line. You got something. You got plus 50 in cap. So
and
why not?
And the defense is built for the Bears. So
the defense, linebacker wise, has been playing lights out. Oh, we gotta drop everyone in that wants to say hello. I got Mr. McCormick, I got James, I got Big L Gigante. So hold on a minute, I gotta bring in James first because I think James wants to say hello to Zack Attack, and I also have to bring in El Gigante. We're gonna bring in Mr. McCormick, but I'm gonna drop in James first. He's got the white Vic jersey on. He's ready. This is history in the making. We have James Williams and we have Zack Attack.
Big Zach.
We got Zack in the room.
What up, brother?
How you been?
I'm good, man. It's good to see you. Good to see you.
And James is sitting there drinking out of his Boba Fett mug. So which I think is even more awesome. You know, and because of the insensitive racist person that I am, I'll make sure I have my mug as well.
Oh, Speedy.
I gotta have my mug. We're on the wrong side there. I also want to bring in someone who just disappeared, and I got to bring Mr. McCormick as well. Are you Big L? Where'd you go?
He's hiding from you.
I'm right here.
Doing it,
Big L.
Doing it, L. I now have Zack Attack, Big L, and James Williams. This is like X-Force.
The Fantastic Four.
There's gonna be Fantastic Five in a minute. It's like the Power Rangers, man. I'm like all the cool Rangers, and you guys are like the Pink Rangers. But Zach, I believe you owe me $20, Big L, because that's Zack Attack right there.
No, I knew he existed.
Wait,
when I saw him on the screen.
There's Zack Attack. There's Zack Attack right there.
I'm not AI.
He is lying.
He's not AI.
He's not Chat GBT.
We're gonna drop him, Mr. McCormick, because I also see a dog. What's going on? Speaking of dogs, everybody knows that we picked up our dog yesterday, and Zack Attack almost had to come get us off the highway. So they're sitting there, Ralphie, named after Ralphie from A Christmas Story. He's a Christmas dog. But I got the full complement of chat. I got Mr. McCormick with the dog. We got Zack Attack, who is real. We got Big L Gigante wearing Big L. Is that the B Giant shirt that we got from the game?
You know it.
I was laughing because I have a box Giant from the season. And everyone calls me the fake fan and everything. I literally have like 8 of those shirts. I have like 9 or 10 different flags and waving and pennants. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why I have all this shit in the box here.
You are a fake fan. You waste your hard-earned kids' college money on season tickets. You go sit out there with Big L in the rain. You're a fake fan, man.
Listen, I sit out.
I know we're fake.
I sat out there with you, Seattle Seahawks fans.
You know.
At the altar of Daniel Jones, so you're definitely a fake fan.
I am taking sums it up. I am a fake fan because I don't bow at the altar of Daniel Jones. And what's up, Big L kid?
Say hi.
Say hi.
Hi. How you doing?
What's up?
Good.
Where you going? Wait, come back.
Oh, good. That's what we get.
I'm not done talking to you. What's going on? Did you guys have a good Christmas?
Yeah.
What'd you get for Christmas? Anything exciting?
I got a Ninja Turtle ballerina, and also I got an Kato B Strike.
Oh my God, B Strike. I like B Strike. That's a good one. I like that. Where's the other one?
Here. Say hi.
Hi.
What did you get for Christmas? Anything good?
A Nintendo.
You got a Nintendo?
Oh.
Sure. Which Nintendo did you get?
What you got? You got the whole game, tell them.
I got the whole game.
Mario Odyssey, whatever else you play that you don't even use anymore.
Zelda.
Yeah.
Secret of the Maple.
Yeah. Go, bye.
We got now I got everyone in the chat. I'm just missing T Brad. We got to talk Giants here because I'm running out of time because I got a dog to take care of. But I want to bring everyone in. We got the Zach Attack, we got James Williams, we got Big L Gigante, we got Mr. McCormick. I'm going to start with Mr. McCormick in the corner here because he was first on it. Well, actually, Zach was first. He was waiting the longest. Got anything you want to say today?
Well, today, the only thing I want to say is we need to do what the New York Knicks did and just start working from the draft. I know there are not a lot of fans in here, but we build from the draft. We can't think that this team's just going to be rebuilt in 1 year. We have to build from the draft. We have to build not to compete right now, but to be able to put ourselves in a position to compete for a long time. We need a franchise quarterback. It starts from there. Then we can move up, get offensive linemen, get, sprinkle in some, wide receivers. Then we have some defensive guys. Then we got a team. But I will put this question to everyone. Does everyone think that Daboll is going to be the coach of his team after next year?
I'm going to start with Zach Attack on that question. Do you think Daboll is still going to be on the team next year?
Probably. I don't think so.
I know James is going to have an opinion on this. Does Daboll make it out to 2025?
A week ago I would have said yes, but now I'm leaning towards with Zach. I'm not sure. It seems like he's trying to get fired. I don't know.
Do you think he's trying to pull a Joe Judge and try to get himself pushed out?
Yeah, I think he's trying to get to San Diego before Harbaugh does.
I think he's running to San Diego. Well, actually, it'll be the LA Chargers now. We all.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, San Diego Superchargers. Big L, is Daboll the coach?
No, I think he's waiting on what's happening today because I think if McDermott shits the poo poo, he might be pulling himself to go back to Buffalo.
Now we got the white Vic jersey on over in the top corner, and that's a question I actually want to ask a couple people because I kind of do think it goes hand in hand with that. If Kansas City somehow goes into Buffalo, and I actually think Kansas City is a better team than Buffalo, but Buffalo's playing at home. There's a lot of circumstances that happen. James, if Kansas City somehow upsets Buffalo, and let's say it's bad. Let's say it's like 45-17.
Oh, God.
You still keep Sean McDermott?
Oh, no, he's gone. He's gone.
And if that's the case, does Shane maybe go to Daboll and try to maybe force a trade? We've seen coaches before. We saw Gruden get traded from the Raiders to Tampa. We had another coach that got traded as well. I can't think off the top of my head. Thank you. Does he force his way out?
If that happens, then any speculation on whether Jones was forced on this regime, which everyone here pretty much assumes that happened, then we'll know that that's exactly what happened. Because there's no way you sign a guy that you just won a playoff game with, go one other year, and then run right back to where you just came from. So, I honestly, all bets are off. But if Buffalo really craps the bed, like Big L said, I do think it's a possibility that Daboll will go, you know what? I should go back there. I can help my guy. I helped develop him. I might as well go back there and take him the rest of the way.
Zach Attack, same question. If as Big L so eloquently put it, if they shit the bed, I don't know what house, I don't know what house Big L is living in. But if they shit the bed, does Daboll force his way out and try to get over his way to Buffalo?
I believe it because he loves Josh Allen. He doesn't like Jones. He doesn't like Tyrod. So he wants to go back to Buffalo. He'll go back to Buffalo. He has his quarterback he wants, and he has his team he wants.
And he's got the organization he wants to be a part of. Mr. McCormick, same question. We get a blowout by Kansas City blows out Buffalo. Sean McDermott's gone. What does Daboll do?
Daboll interviews for the Buffalo job, but it's ultimately given to Bill Belichick, who comes out of nowhere and takes that job.
Oh shit, man! You stole my. You stole my
Ooh.
thunder. You got Wonka. You stole my thunder. I would actually say that if this happens, I think Belichick, who went for the went for the Falcons job, if he all of a sudden there is something that happens and McDermott's gone, that Belichick ends up with the Bills. I think that. Big L, same question. Does Dable force his way to Buffalo if they flame out in this game? If the Bills fire McDermott?
I think so, but it's going to be hard for him to do though because the
Preach. I think so because it's going to be hard for him to do because Tim is awesome. I'm sorry, Tim is awesome, and he is the greatest giant content creator that there ever was, and that's my personal opinion. So was that a yes?
Yes, let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I had Mr. Esquire's question. I said I had this question. I actually liked it. If you at Florida State said Jordan Travis never gets hurt, where do you rank him? This was an interesting question because Travis is one of those quarterbacks that people forget has been in school since 18. He started off as a freshman in Louisville. So he went from Louisville and he's been at Florida State since 2019. And he was having one hell of a season before he got hurt. So he is a guy that's a little bit more of an older quarterback. He's 6'1". He's 200 pounds. He was having a good season. He had a pretty good season that second year in 2022 with the 24 touchdowns, I think 5 interceptions or 6 interceptions. But I would still rank him. I would still go Caleb. I would still, if it's me, I go Caleb, Daniels, May, Penix, and then I would have Travis above Bo Nix and JJ McCarthy and people like that. Just my opinion. Like I said, I just think we got a lot of older quarterbacks coming out. We got a lot of quarterbacks pulling a Kenny Pickett, 5-6 year starters, and then coming out into the league. So I mean, that's just kind of my opinion. I want to go with James real quick. James, what do you got today?
I got we mean as far as score.
No, just what do you got in general? You're on the show. You got to have.
Today. Well, again, it's very simple. We have to. If the Bears are keeping Fields, which like I said before, and Tim, and I think it's leaning towards looking that way, we have to trade up to get that number one. Because the Patriots are taking a quarterback, the Redskins are taking a quarterback, and we got to be aggressive here. Same way they were aggressive in handing out $160 million to give away and waste it. We need to be aggressive and trying to trade up and whatever they want. As long as they don't want like half of MetLife, we should just give it to them. Because as we learned with Eli, if you get the guy, all the other picks and stuff doesn't really matter if you get the guy. And I think that we need to be aggressive with that.
My question is this: MetLife is a dump.
Yeah,
it is.
Give it away too.
If we trade if we trade half the dump, I should be upset.
Well, you got to think about it. We only own half the dump because we share it with the Jets, so we can't even give away half the dump because we'd be giving away our half.
So we could finally build our own stadium. Billy just subscribed. Enjoyed the show and its concept. Big ups. Wow, we have a concept. I also wanted to get to Thomas' question. Did anyone know that Penix was hurt all game? His wide receivers and tight ends had a lot. You know what? The thing with Penix in that championship game, I'm going to say this. He was being blitzed consistently. Michigan had his numbers. The Michigan defense, especially their corners, played up to expectation in my regards, in my opinion. He did have a lot of drops. He also missed. Penix missed 3 big throws.
Yeah,
he did.
Three big throws deep that could have been game altering. It's almost like after the first 2 big runs for Michigan kind of was, in some regards, trying to give the game away to Washington, but he missed. He missed guys that were wide open that were, if they had not a step, but like a country mile on the nearest defender, and he just missed. So yeah, talk about the drops. We could talk about him being hurt, but we also need to talk about the fact that he had the throws, but he just didn't make the throws. Mr. McCormick, where right now do you rank Penix in reference to the rest of the quarterbacks?
I rank him right below. Of course, Williams, J.D. McDaniels. Right below May. I would put him above JJ, even though I'm a Michigan fan. I'll put him above JJ.
That's blasphemous.
What people were saying about is correct. You know, he's more of a system quarterback. You know, our Michigan was more of a running team, and don't get me wrong, he was better than the press. He was better than K. McNamara, definitely better. But he'll thrive in a system where, you know, not much going on, where he's not the focal point of the offense. He's very accurate when he wants to be, especially deep. He can be, but you know, the type of offense that we're running in Michigan didn't really rely on him. We had our running backs just running all over guys, and then when the defense would creep up, JJ would hit him over the top, and that was the end of the game. But Penix, he's a little bit older, and he has injury history. But
2 ACLs.
Yeah, but you can definitely see that he was like, he has a laser arm. You know, I was like, oh wow, I've never seen this guy before that game, and I was like, oh wow, this guy, like, he's head and shoulders above JJ McCarthy, like that. I was like, this guy is an elite quarterback. Period.
Well, everyone talks about JJ McCarthy's championship game, but nobody wants to point out, besides idiots on this channel, me, that JJ McCarthy didn't complete a third or a fourth down pass until almost the end of the third quarter. So, I mean, it's not like yeah, he had that one touchdown, but it's not like he was big time. It was the running game and the defense that powered this.
That running game was.
And the running game did it, and the defense definitely did it. That was.
And Penix never really faced a defense like that. My fault, McCormick.
No, that's fine. Yeah, you're 100% right. He never faced a defense like Michigan. Penix in the NFL, he's going to get looks like that all the time, but you can't really blame him for having a bad game. It's a bad game. Everyone has them.
You just have to have it at a bad time.
Yeah, he just had it when everyone was watching, so that's probably going to make him, it's probably going to, sink him to the second round, to be honest with you.
See, I don't think it's going to sink him to the second round because, like I said, that Michigan running game just out of nowhere. It was all of a sudden like they had the reincarnation of Jamie Morris and Butch Woolfolk in the backfield. Nobody knew. I mean, it was just crazy the way these guys were just running through these holes in this.
That's what she said.
In that defense. I mean, I think Penix is going to reassert himself in the combine and in his pro day because everyone looks good against the all shorts team. And I think he's going to establish himself. I think if anything is going to be Penix's faults, it's going to be he's a left-hander, and it's going to be that windup, because you can say whatever you want about that windup. When you have a funky windup, and it's not, and people like, well, you think he has a funky windup because he's a left-hander. No, he has a funky windup because he has a funky windup. He's very Mahomian with his windup. But the difference with the Mahomes is, Mahomes is Mahomes, and you hope that Penix is going to be that. But you combine a funky windup and being a left-hander and 2 knee surgeries, he's going to have to do something for himself to help push him back into the top 3 quarterback question in this draft.
He's going to need one of those Zach Wilson type throws where people go, oh, man, did you see that throw Wilson did? Oh, can you imagine that on the next level? He'll look so amazing in a real game.
And Darnold did the same throw the weekend before.
I can see Atlanta. I can see Atlanta taking Penix.
I can too.
I can too. See Atlanta going with Penix. I was actually about to ask you, Zach, where do you have Penix ranked?
I have
in the top 4. Let's say top 4 quarterbacks.
I have number 4.
You have him at number 4. Okay, I've been waiting for this guy because I worked on this for him. Everyone that doesn't know, T-Brad and I had a show last week, and it was just one of those things. So I had to work very difficult. It was very diligently on a new theme song for the T-Brad. I worked on this, man, just for you.
Give me the honey. Give me the honey.
Uh-oh.
Give me the honey and let me love you.
It's the T-Brad and Tim Hour.
Oh yeah.
Funkiness from all across the world.
That's the Poppycockers Lounge. Happy hour drinks, first 2 hours.
I worked on it all for T-Brad.
Appreciate it.
What I do with my food.
I heard Tommy Cutlets is coming through to sign some autographs.
Tommy.
Oh.
Can anyone,
His price was too expensive.
Can you believe that he's still charging for autographs?
Thanks, man.
He's charging $20,000 for autographs, I heard.
Yeah, can anyone still believe he's charging for autographs?
Well, with all the side money he's making, he should be moving out of his parents' crib.
He could move in with Zach.
Nah, Zach don't want him.
Hell no.
Zach doesn't want him.
It's just $2 at a thrift store.
It's not panning out. So we have the Zach attack. We have James Williams. We have T. Brad. We have Mr. McCormick. We have Big L dropping in. Since you're late, T. Brad.
What's up, good people?
What are you drinking?
Like that hoodie, brother.
Thank you. This is some of the Nestle wine.
Oh, it is some of the Nestle wine.
Nestle, I think as well. Yeah, Nestle wine, pretty good.
Hey, I was
going drinkers. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right,
that's what we're going with. We've been asking everyone what's their thought on the Giants today. Since you're late to the party, what do you got? What do you got today? What Giant perspective or what Giant comment or what Giant question or what do you want to talk about?
Whatever with the Giants is just I'm getting set up for the worst. I'm preparing for the worst. I am the pessimistic Giants fan. We've been through this too many times. It's been, you know how you go out on a date with a girl, you feel like this is going to be the time. This is going to be the time. But the date never goes anywhere. You just go to a place and then you leave and I'll call you later. And that's what the NFL free agency and draft have been like. I mean, we got close, but nah. And it all starts with the quarterback. Where we landed, the top 3 quarterbacks that I like are gone. May, I know a lot of people don't like May. I like May. I like Williams. I like Daniels. They'll all be gone. And because we won the last game, there's a very good chance that Malik Neighbors will be going too, leaving us with Romeo Odunze or, wait for it, another offensive tackle. It's ridiculous. We have the trade back philosophy. I don't necessarily see why, because in my eyes, even though I don't want another offensive tackle, in my eyes, you get, and this is in no specific order, but you get the offensive tackle, you get the game-breaking wide receiver, or you get the quarterback at that 6th pick. Now, if you feel like you can't get any of those there, then maybe you trade back. Trading up, I'm not so sure that Caleb Williams is a quarterback to trade up with. And I'm going to give you all a name, and we may disagree on the name. What's the guy? Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence was supposed to be an outstanding generational type quarterback, very much like they say about Caleb Williams. Trevor Lawrence isn't that great. He's playing in the league right now. He's solid. He's good, but he's the franchise quarterback of Jacksonville Jaguars, but he doesn't seem like that game breaker. You know, if they traded up to get Trevor Lawrence, I don't think they'd be that happy with the trade. So, and then after what Carolina did, I'm nervous if trading up is the right thing for a team that's probably not going to be good until 2025. And our thing is, we keep spending money like, if we just get this one guy in this one position, then we'll be ready. We're not that team. The curse of Odell Beckham is real. I don't think y'all realize it. The curse of Odell Beckham is real. We have not had a 1,000-yard receiver since Odell Beckham. We went to the playoff once, but we've been losing, and doing more losing. No matter how many overpriced free agents we bring in, Kenny Golladay, no matter how many king of the almost sacks you trade for, and like Zach Attack said earlier, that was a really good pick when he talked about some of the worst picks ever. Trading up to get DeAndre Baker was definitely one of the worst picks ever because we lost picks to go get somebody who's not on the team. I don't even know. Is he playing in the NFL right now?
He's done.
No.
He's out of the league
right now.
Yeah, he's not an Eli Apple, but yeah.
I got a question for you, T. Brad. I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a quarterback who in 3 years had one playoff appearance, has thrown for over almost 12,000 yards, almost 60 touchdowns, only 39 interceptions, and completed over 64% of his passes, and has 2 4,000-yard seasons in a row, would you consider that a success?
Yes.
Okay, that's Trevor Lawrence.
That's cool. That's cool.
That's Trevor. No, but I'm just saying though. But it was the defense of Jacksonville that let Jacksonville down this year, and it was the fact that Trevor Lawrence had the shoulder injury and missed. He would actually have better stats this year, but he still threw for over 4,000 yards and over 20 touchdowns and over 66 completion percentage of his passes. It was the defense, and that's why right now Jacksonville is crazily looking at Wink because they had defensive talent. They just couldn't close it out.
Right. I'm not blaming the losses on Jacksonville, but I'm saying when we use the word generational talent, we use it a lot. We use it heavy. I'm one generation. He's not a generational talent when you bring it up like that. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
According to Zagatech, I'm so old, I'm like 20 generations.
Yeah, like Andrew Luck was somebody like, yeah, he's a generational guy. Shoot, if you want to think about it, Lamar Jackson is a generational talent.
Hell yeah.
Lamar Jackson's generational. Now, Pat Mahomes, we all know about, but Lamar Jackson's a generational talent, and y'all didn't know me then, but that draft, when we drafted Barkley and he was in there, I said, look, I know we need a quarterback. I didn't like any of the quarterbacks except Allen and Lamar Jackson. They were the only 2 quarterbacks that I really liked. So when we picked Barkley, I was cool with it. But if you look what Lamar Jackson's doing, and this is why I lean so much towards Daniels, he's dynamic at winning football games. He's dynamic.
We talk about Andrew Luck being generational talent. If you look at Andrew Luck's first 2 seasons, he had 46 touchdowns and he had over 37 interceptions. Never completed more than 60% of his passes. It wasn't until that 2014 season where he had his 40 touchdowns that he become the generational talent. So again, like I said, if we're comparing generational talents, he literally only had 3 seasons, Andrew Luck did, that you would consider generational, which was 16 and then 2018, where he had the 39 and 15 and almost 4,500 yards. So I think to some point that people talk about how we have the draft being, we have the pro days being glorified. I think sometimes we toss around the generational talent thing, but out of Andrew Luck's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, I only see 3 seasons that I would consider generational, and are only really 2 seasons where I would say that he was the best player in the league. I'm just throwing that out there because I think a lot of
times, I get you.
I think a lot of time when people retire and the mind kind of wanders a little bit about exactly what Andrew Luck was, because Andrew Luck was terrible his first year. I mean, he wasn't terrible, but he only completed 50% of his passes. He did throw for over 4,000 yards, but he had 23.
I'm about to say he still has the rookie passing record though.
He had what they would refer to as a Eli Manning season, because Eli Manning would have this type of season and still be considered, a waste to some Giant fans, not me. I got to get to Matthew's comment because I love this comment. It says, "Good morning, Tim. Good morning, OBF family. I get here super late, and I walked into Hollywood Squares."
Welcome.
So I thought that was a great comment. Let's see here. Davey says, "You like Lamar because he runs. He has 1 knee injury away from retirement. Daniel Jones is 1 neck injury away from."
Whoa! Let me take that one. Whoa!
I don't know.
T-Brad, hold on, brother.
I definitely want to hear what he said.
Hold on, T-Brad. I got this one for you, brother. Hold on, brother. Sip that wine. Take it easy. As a guy up here who's wearing a Bills jersey and calls this guy White Vic, I don't just like Josh Allen because he runs. He's an amazing athlete and he has a cannon of an arm. Lamar Jackson, if you watch, Lamar Jackson, if you watch the way he played this year, he actually played from the pocket more. He looked to pass more, and he did not run until it was his last option. He did not play in his MVP season. He was quick to run because he knew that was his advantage. Nobody could catch him. Hell, nobody could catch him now. But this year, if you watch his games, watch that Miami game, watch that San Francisco game. He played from the pocket, and he has improved his passing ability from the pocket tremendously. So, no, we don't just like him because he runs. He runs amazingly. First of all, Daniel Jones just runs. Lamar Jackson runs amazingly, kind of like this guy here. Not just a runner. He's a thrower. He's a leader. He makes plays. If you want to say, you have to say that. He makes plays. He doesn't just run. He makes things happen.
Now he did complete a career high at 67.2% passes. He had career passing yardage at 3,678. He was third most of the touchdowns with 24. So he had played in 16 games. He has become more of a pocket presence this year.
Come on.
And he's Lamar Jackson, that is. And running more out of necessity. He still had 800 and something yards, rushing 5 touchdowns. So he still is running, but he's not running as much as he did in 19 and in 2020.
That's blasphemous to say. He's just a runner at this point. It's just blasphemous.
Here's the thing, and I'm not sure what the person said about Lamar Jackson fully. Like, we want him just because he runs. I think when you look at Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, you give me any one of them two quarterbacks. I want somebody who can make plays from the quarterback position when things get hectic. There are plenty of quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, who can make plays when things are all right around him. The pocket's there, 1, 2, 3, read, open, throw. That's easy. That's what an NFL quarterback is supposed to do. But the great ones are the ones making those dynamic plays when their team needs a play, and they can get it done with their feet or with their arm. And when you look at somebody like Lamar Jackson, he's what you scheme for when you play Baltimore. When you play Baltimore, you scheme for Lamar Jackson. Like, how do we stop this guy?
Dave does have a question, though, and it's actually a valid question because it is part of his game. And we just talked about Andrew Luck. He goes, but if you take away his running ability, would he be a generational athlete?
That's crazy. That's such a crazy, and I don't want to say what I want to say, but that's such a crazy and biased comment to me. So if I take away Peyton Manning's mindset on the game, is he one of the greatest quarterbacks ever? If I take away Big Ben's size and his girth and his strength, is he able to play the way he played? If you take away any great quarterback's greatest attribute, are they going to be as great? What are we talking about? Taking away what does that even mean? You're taking a part away of his game. If you take away Brett Favre's cannon arm, is he still Brett Favre? What are we talking about? Sorry, I hate seeing that because it's only certain quarterbacks that get that. If you take away Daniel Jones' running ability, you know what he is? He's like this wall over here next to me. He's just standing still, waiting to get hit. He's nobody. There's nothing special about him.
Then to talk about.
Come on, man. Take away his running ability. It's like, what? If you take the speed out of a Porsche, is it still a Porsche?
Yes. It's got the emblem on it.
Come on, man.
I gotta get out of here, but Mr. McCormick's just speaking quietly along with Zach. So I want to give Mr. McCormick his final thought before we have to go and take care of the dog. Matthew said it's not a Porsche, it's a Volkswagen.
Well, I agree. I agree with the gentleman. He just plainly said it. Why would you want to take away the best part of what makes this guy special? Like if he's a quarterback who runs as opposed to a running quarterback like Lamar Jackson, I was like, well, let's take away one of his legs and let's handicap him. Like, why do you have to handicap him? Why? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just like, what? Okay, let's take away the best attribute of this quarterback. Let's see if Josh Allen can make these passes with one eye. Let's see that. Let's see that. Let's put an eye patch on him.
I would like to say one thing. I would like to see a one-legged quarterback.
You have seen one. He's called Daniel Jones.
No.
Oh. You can't say nothing bad about Daniel Jones because then you're not a Giants fan anymore.
Well, I'm a Bills fan.
Only Gen Z says that.
Damn it, James! You had to be thrown out. You had to be thrown out. You are just and Zach Attack's got a good point. He says Lamar Jackson, because he's right there too, but I'm just gonna read it. Lamar Jackson's injuries last season and the year before came from the pocket. You're right. I mean that actually is a great point. That you talk about him not, and I'm not making fun of Davey because Davey's a good follower of the show. But if you take away his pocket, you take away his game, and I mean, yeah, we try to make him do things he is not comfortable doing. But you take away a part of his aspect that is a big part of his game and make him a pocket passer. Yeah, there's more of a chance he probably is going to get injured, like he did, because Zach Attack is 100% right.
If you take away Patrick Mahomes' arm, is he as good as he is? If you take away his arm?
No, because then you have a one-armed quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
it makes it a little bit more difficult. I mean, like I said, you could do a Daniel Jones throw. Here you go. It doesn't work.
Sorry. Like with that question right there was like kind of like a very, very old school question. And what people have to understand, I'm just going to assume that's an older person. But what people have to understand, the way that the NFL quarterback plays today is different. It's about winning. It's not about the pocket. If you have a pocket and you can use it, do what you need to do. If you make plays, no one should care how you make them. No one should care. As long as it's legal and you're doing it the right way, there's no one way to get it done. You can make plays from the pocket. You can extend plays out and wait for people to lose discipline and take advantage that way. There's so many different ways to play this game at quarterback. And now offensive coordinators do not want statues. They want people who can make plays. So you say, yep, we drew it up just like that.
Sublight, yes. If you take the wings off a plane, I'm sorry, they just don't fly well.
It's not a plane, it's a helicopter now.
Yep.
It's the blades, though.
It still had the blades, right? Still chop somebody's head off. Mr. McCormick, like I said, I do have to get out of here. Mr. McCormick, do you have anything else you wanted to add before we bid you adieu until next week?
No, I just want to say go Giants. That's it. I'm a fan. We're all fans. We can talk about the Giants however we want. That doesn't make us any less of a fan than any other fan base who criticizes their team. There are a lot of fans who get on us for saying Daniel Jones can't do that, but it's just being honest and saying the truth, and I don't see anything wrong with that. So I'm going to go on to Facebook and shit post now, and they're going to call me a loser and say I'm not a real fan. So there you go. That's how I spend my Sundays.
Let me know what group you're in so I can jump in with you and start some trash.
Word, me too. Let me jump in there with y'all.
Groups, and I shit talk and I get kicked out, and I make a fake profile, go back in and say the same thing. So it's
you got time. Yeah, you got time to play with them. Yeah.
I don't even have a Facebook profile because I don't. I'm on MySpace, according to Zach. All right. Appreciate you coming in. We'll see you next week. I'm going to drop you out and get to everyone else in the chat so we can go out of here. Zach Attack, you're up. What's your, as always, thank you. You are real. You're a real person. You're not AI generated. People think I used to keep you in my back of my pocket because you were AI generated. What is your final thought for this lovely Sunday afternoon?
The Giants will not change as long as John Mara is in charge.
Yes, somebody gets it.
Somebody gets it.
Somebody gets it.
And we look at it, we have 2 playoff appearances since Super Bowl in the last 2 decades. 2.
And that on a somber note. I wanted someone to come up with something happy. I'm going to go James last because we just know that's going to be a train wreck. So, but I wanted something happy, but okay, that's what we're gonna go with. We are never gonna
Honesty and realism. I love it.
honesty, realism. I love it. Well, Zach, thank you again for coming in. You're always welcome. We'll probably see you next weekend if you are available. I'm gonna drop you out so I can get to the other gentleman. And thank you for always being
Big Zach.
and providing all the information that you do for the channel. It's greatly appreciated.
You're welcome.
All right, Zach.
Bye, guys.
Weekend.
Thanks, Zach.
Peace.
I was gonna mess with him and say go Pitt.
T-Rat, it's time for.
Give me the honey, yeah. Give me the honey,
yeah. You need that drop.
I like the other music. It was slowed down. It was kind of like a oh my god, I can't think of the artist, and he's dead too. But yeah. I can't think of the artist, but go ahead. Isaac Hayes. It had an Isaac Hayes feel. The other music had kind of an Isaac Hayes feel.
Go ahead. You want more of the Shaft field.
Yeah, smooth. I like it.
So, what is the T-Brad final thought for this loving Sunday? Give me something good, man. Give me something positive.
All right, positive is we can't lose any more games than we already have. But I'll say this: it's just like I said earlier. It's just like going out on that date, and you're hoping things are going to go a certain way. So that's where we are at this stage of the off season. You're hoping that Jaden Daniels falls, and you're hoping that the Giants can find a way to get in there and get a pick. But I'm perfectly fine if the top 3 picks are quarterbacks and the Bears trade Fields and we get them for a third or something like that, because we got to change. And the only thing I can say is, like the brother said earlier, as long as Mara is taking a Jerry Jones approach to this, we're going to be in trouble, because we have been holding this team hostage for Daniel Jones, and that's what people don't want to realize. We haven't drafted a quarterback since we drafted Daniel Jones, and every single year it's about what we can do to make Daniel Jones better, and we haven't really seen that he's good. So until we do that, it's going to be more of the same. So my outside hope is if we don't get a quarterback, that Malik Neighbors is still there. So I'm, neighboring for neighbors. I guess that's my thing.
Well, I mean, but why do we have to have him be good? I mean,
what
does it matter anymore? We're going into year 7. Who cares?
Well, the thing is, I think we have a group of Giants fans that believe that as long as we keep picking offensive linemen, Daniel Jones will improve every single year. And the thing that I keep trying to tell people is, we made the playoffs last year. Was it fool's gold? Yeah, it was fool's gold. We all saw it last year. We all saw it. But I took an approach that once you make the playoffs, you are no longer rebuilding. You're a playoff team looking to improve upon that. They had a very solid draft from what we saw. They had addressed the offensive line. They addressed the wide receiver. Maybe not when we wanted to with the people we wanted to, but they did it. And you come out and throw, and I think this is 5 games he played, 2 touchdowns,
1 and 4.
and 6 interceptions. Those numbers can't be ignored.
I got to figure out which. Hold on a second here.
Give me the
Right, we got that. Hold on. So we need
Rick Rubin.
Where was it?
Yeah.
We got it. Oh yeah, I still like the funky. That's just me though.
Yeah.
That's like T-Rad going out in the white Saturday Night Fever suit.
I know. T-Rad's in the club.
Right there, I'm going to the merry-go-round. That sounds like music that would play in the merry-go-round in the mall. And I'm not talking about the merry-go-round with the horses. I'm talking about the clothing company, the merry-go-round.
I was like, he's sitting there at Jeans West.
Yes, Jeans West. Jeans West, yes.
You gotta have the Jeans West soul.
Oh no, that's
when Big Hair was in. Big Hair was.
That's hilarious.
Mr. T-Brad, I'm gonna drop you off because I gotta talk to Mr. Williams a second. It's always a pleasure to have.
All right, brothers. Good seeing y'all.
Appreciate it.
Brother.
you next weekend. Thank you
Peace.
for coming on in. And don't worry, James, we're going to have a theme song for you one day.
Oh, it's all right. I come in the back anyway. I don't need a song.
That's what she said.
I got to get out of here because I got to go check on the dog. What's your final thought for this giant nation for today?
I'll do it real quick. Number one, Bills are going to beat Mahomes today. Let me just get that out the way. And second thing is, we need to get out of this old school mind state. Like Davey, he is a good supporter of the channel, and he's a good dude. I've watched his comments for a while. You know, he's a good dude. So yeah, I just want to say that too, because we are Giants fans, and we are a community here, a small community of intelligent Giant fans here. But I do have to say that some of what we have to get out of this mentality where if a quarterback doesn't look a certain way, then he's not going to be successful. You know, we one thing about Jerry Jones, he may get in his way, but he also tries things differently. If you look at some of the quarterbacks Jerry Jones has drafted, it is different than the quarterbacks John Mara has drafted. I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying Jerry Jones has tried something different. I'm not saying it's always going to work, but he has tried. We have to get out of this mentality where what worked 20 years ago is going to work now. And maybe it will. But there are other options out here. Like T-Brad said, there's a Cam Newton on his podcast. He said something really great because people were comparing him and Dak. And T-Brad kind of alluded to it too. Scoring touchdowns and winning games is what's important. If you're winning games, if you're scoring touchdowns, throwing or running, 6 is still 6. And then you got to kick the extra point. Doesn't matter how you get there. As long as you get there efficiently and your team is winning, that's what matters. That's all I got.
Just keep matriculating the ball down the field, boys.
Davey says it best. I appreciate it. I don't mind people that do not agree with me with respect. Of course, I don't like running quarterback. That's fine. And of course, T-Brad leaves. And it took me forever. I found the T-Brad music. This was T-Brad's theme song, James. Last
I do like that. That is smooth. I do like that.
It was the smooth jazz.
Yeah, I can see that for T-Brad. I see why. Now I see what he was talking about.
To the witching hour.
Oh, see, now you're going into that's like Cinemax late at night. Get that out.
It was a little bit of Babyface.
Oh yeah, Babyface.
I was going to consider it more too, but I finally found. I have so many different tracks. I finally found the T-Brad music I put together for him. I agree. Irish Rover says quarterback.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thank you, Irish. Shout out, baby.
I think big shout out to the Rover because that just sums it up. Quarterback. Can I say one thing? Quarterback.
Of course.
Just say quarterback. I want to appreciate everyone that hung in for as long as they did for the 70 people we had. Now we're down to 60 because we know we are heading out here because I do have to go take care of the dog. I don't think I was going to run this for 2 hours, but we had such a good time as always. Want to thank T-Brad. Want to thank Mr. McCormick. Want to thank Zach and Sack. Want to thank Big L Bargente and James Williams for coming on. As always, it's Tim with your Giant Straight Talk. Powered by Online Big Blue LLC. Have yourself a good weekend, guys, because you know what? We are out of here.